homes are alive. They hold memories, energy, and messages meant just for us. In this session, Feng Shui Master Teacher, Reiki Master, and Holistic Interior Designer Lisa Morton, author of Aligned at Home, How Feng Shui and Holistic Design Can Restore Your Energy and Well-Being, will guide us to connect deeply with the spirit of our space. You'll meet your home's energy and learn her most transformative feng shui tips to bring harmony, vitality, and flow into your environment and your life. It's time for an energy reset at home. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me join. I'm so excited. I love watching the replays, and now I get to be a part of it.
We're excited to have you. So let's start with talking about how did you come into understanding that our homes have energy, that they are energy, and what is feng shui? There's a lot to discuss here.
All the basics. One word, burnout. I hit burnout, and early in my career, I thought I had my dream job. I was this interior designer, designing private jet interiors and traveling the world and Miss Fancy, right? And I completely lost connection with my authentic self. And I just lost connection, period, the end. And really hit a really rough patch of burnout. And so I ended up having to leave what I thought was my dream job. There's a lot of shame and just a lot that went with that. But it was a beautiful blessing in the end. I ended up, I say it was a rebirth moment.
Mm.
And fast forward, I still did traditional design for many years, but I started studying this different approach, looking at the home holistically, looking at little cues in the space, right? And then I started studying back in 2013, 2014, started studying feng shui. And this was really, it gave me I've always been very intuitive, and having that feng shui training really helped me put words to what I was experiencing. So it was just this beautiful full circle shift. And so feng shui actually means wind and water. And it's an ancient practice over 4,000 years old. And it's about, a lot of people think furniture arrangement, but it's so much more than that. It's looking at all the colors and patterns and textures and really crafting a space to support you. Oftentimes people think, feng shui, it's going to make my space feel really zen. But it's more. It's if you need focus, it will support you. If you're looking for inspiration, you're creative and you're trying to grow creatively, we can implement things to help that, right? If you're healing from an ailment, it can support you in that way. So it's much more than just zen vibes, which most people think about.
Yeah. And for everyone on here, when we think about our home and we think about the energy of our home, before we even get into the center of what we're going to talk about and do today, just take a moment and think about that. Wouldn't you say, Lisa? I don't think most people really take that time to think about how does your home feel to you?
I have a favorite journal prompt. If your home were a metaphor for your life, what's it saying? Oh boy.
That's a good question.
And we're not here to judge. It's not to be judging. It's not to put ourselves down or feel bad. It's just to be aware. Is it encouraging me to move forward and go towards my dreams? Am I feeling stuck and stagnant? Am I feeling like I'm left behind? Is life flowing? Is it not? Just explore. Because then when we have that knowledge, then we can make adjustments if needed.
Yeah, and when you're tying that then to both feng shui as well as holistic design, how does that work together? Because as you said, feng shui is more than it just being Zen. How
Mhm.
do you then, utilizing everything that you've now learned to do,
Mhm.
help somebody move through and or reset that energy?
I have a rather big intake form and I ask questions. I ask, what do you want? What are you looking for? Why are we going to work together? And it's funny because oftentimes, I may have talked about this on the podcast episode. Oftentimes people are like, oh, I just want to feel better. I just want to feel really good. But this work is so incredibly powerful. If you want that new job, you want to grow your family, you want a big shift in your life, we can do that by adding cues, adding directing energy into various areas of your home. We can do that. We get the energy flowing if it's stuck or stagnant, and then we direct where it goes. I also wanted to mention too, sometimes in Feng Shui, you might hear people talk about Feng Shui cures. And I don't like the word cures. I always use adjustments because cures makes it feel very wrong, right or wrong. And I like to encourage people to think of it on a sliding scale. It's not working for me very much. We can get it better, right? It's not good or bad. So I always like to use the word adjustments.
And I think too, I love that Gale put in that when she thinks of her home, it's woodsy and green. Lisa Capretto mentioned that there's lots of laundry. Karyn also agreed. And I know for me, different parts of my house make me feel different ways. But like overall, I usually feel like comforted by my home. But how can people start to feel that they don't have a certain feeling or they can't put
Mhm.
words to it? How do we start talking to our home? What does that mean? How does that work?
It's really slowing down and getting quiet, which is so hard to do, right? It's so hard to slow down and just you may feel silly, but just sit in a room in the quiet, put your phone away, go put it in the other room, just sit and just look around and observe and maybe ask your home a question. What do you need? And just listen. When we can develop this relationship with our home, like it's a friend, a family member, we can just have this beautiful relationship and it supports us in a way that would blow your mind. I think of my home as a family member. I talk to it and it does sound a little out there and weird, but it's a beautiful relationship, right? You're in this space, you're nourishing your children with meals, you're spending time with family, you're working on whatever you're taking on your home office, or maybe you're painting. We do a lot in our homes. We also rejuvenate our bodies and sleep for a long period of time in our homes. Oftentimes, people that are brand new to this work, they just think of it as a box. It's this box for walls. It holds the bed where I crash at the end of the day, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah. And so, what, let's talk about your book because we're going to actually do the exercise of talking to our home in a more guided way. But let's talk about how your book came to be and what you hope we all can get from that because and some of the highlights in terms of some of the tips that you're giving in the book.
I started writing my book, Aligned at Home, about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I actually started writing a completely different book. It was going to be a how-to feng shui book. I've done this work for over 10 years. I've worked with a lot of people. I've learned a lot of lessons, grown a lot as my own on my own, and I wanted to have this how-to feng shui book. But then 3 months in, I'm like, no, this isn't what it needs to be. I realized how many interesting stories and how many impactful stories I can share. And I wanted it to be this cozy little book with these interesting stories that just kind of maybe open your eyes to looking at your home in a different manner. So yes, there's feng shui tips and tricks and things in there, but I think it's done in a way that that's very intentional. My whole message is to just be intentional with your home. So the beginning part is memoir. It explains my story and how I found this approach to design and how it nourished me when I needed it, and then how I started applying it to other people. And then we get into all kinds of there's feng shui for the bedroom. I even have a chapter on pets because I'm an animal lover. There's myths, feng shui myths, because there's a lot of weird stuff that I had a woman recently that actually the woman who designed my cover told me that she was told by someone to keep a bowl of rice on the back of her toilet. Now, I understand why someone may have said this because rice would be a wood element, and we want wood on top of a water element. Anyway, we don't have to do those, right? Nobody wants rice on the traditional interior designer in me. Who wants rice on the back of their bowl? You want something pretty. So it's really looking at how we can be intentional and love our spaces and fill it with those things that make us happy while also harmonizing the energy of the space.
Yeah, I think what you do overall and also introduced into the book is that the thing about what I've learned from about feng shui and even the way that you work in helping me recognize and helping all of your clients recognize how to best use their energy in their home to align with what their what their intention is in life overall is that there are with feng shui you use something called a Bagua map, which I'm not sure if everyone on this call understands what that is. I didn't prior to understanding feng shui at all, but that there is a specific type of map that can help you look at your house in a very focused, specific way. And not just your house, but if you are on land, you can look at your whole property that way, which
Yeah.
even in that starts to help you understand how to use energy in a different way, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and it gives you a lot of, you can, as you're going forward and remodeling or decorating or doing something, making this something beautiful, you have all this knowledge of how to support that space and the energy of that space by using this. So I really focus on two different things. One is the five element system of feng shui: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And we want to create harmony of these elements in an environment, but also keep in mind the purpose of the environment. A library or a spa has to be very different energy than a a workout room. Or I always compare like a library to Chuck E. Cheese, right? Chuck E. Cheese would be really boring if it was beige walls and no music, right? It needs to be more in terms of yin or yang. It needs to be young and loud and active and noisy and kids laughing and running around. Just like the spa needs to be quiet and peaceful and meditative and soothing in colors, aroma. So the five elements is a really powerful way to alter your space. And then using the Bagua map, Bagua means 8 sections, and then we have a ninth centermost area of the Bagua map. And I overlay this map over your floor plan. And then this tells me where we need to go and work on depending on your goals. So you literally have a space in your home that supports your wealth and abundance. You have a space in your home that connects to your health. You have a space that connects to your career or your life path, which, Robin, I believe we did some of that work in your home. You also have a space connected to love and relationships. And that's also a great space to get into self-love, which I think is so important.
Yeah, and I think what I learned is that some of my spaces are actually somewhat outside. They're on my patio, and you were able to help me figure out how do I bring that in because there are ways to utilize that even if they're not actually within the actual walls.
It's not common that homes are square, right? Or rectangle or perfect. It just doesn't always work out that way. So we have to just shift the energy a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing that I wanted to point out before we really explore the guided visualization that you're going to give us so we can talk to our spaces is talking about also the energy that may have already existed in your home prior to you living in it. That's
Mhm.
another thing that I think people don't think about. Even if it's a
Mhm.
brand new home, it's on land that's been there for thousands of years. So can you just
Yeah.
speak to that too?
So interesting. My husband and I lived in a home years ago. We were outside of St. Louis at the time. And we were not married. We were not married. We were engaged at the time. But there we I can't even tell you how many times we almost broke up when we lived here. It was our first time living together. It did not work out well. And then we moved out. We moved out and kept it as a rental property. And in that home, there were 3 more divorces. of the renters. And it was one of my first eye-opening experiences, how the home, the property, things hold energy from whatever happened there before. A big part of my work prior to getting into feng shui is to do a distance energetic space clearing. So I do these only distance. It's very similar to distance Reiki if you've ever had that done. And we do a clearing to rinse out, whether that's past, previous homeowner, or maybe the home was vacant for 7 months, right? Homes can become really sad and feel very abandoned when they're just left empty for long periods. And then they don't want to sell either. So I work with a lot of people trying to get their homes sold. And also, if you're just feeling stuck in life, if you're feeling stuck, maybe you've gone through illness, a divorce, loss of a family member, things collect. I actually, in my podcast episode I released today, I'm talking about about corners and hallways. And just, I have two dogs, right? Their dog hair likes to collect in corners. It just naturally happens, right? Stuff, emotions, energy, stuff we don't need anymore collects in corners. So when we can rinse that out, it's just getting your house cleaned and that refresh, right? It's going even deeper. Oftentimes people will feel, it just feels more clear, brighter. Sometimes people will say, hey, it feels like you just cleaned my house. I see the lines sharper, or it feels like a fog is lifted, but then life just flows better. And even if someone isn't open or sensitive to that, I might get a phone call. You won't believe how I'm sleeping now, or my kids are getting along, or the dog is not angry all the time.
I can attest to that. Really, we didn't know what was going on with my daughter's bedroom. And you didn't, I don't think you even realized, like, you just knew that was a bedroom. You didn't know it was her bedroom at the time. And because you had our floor plan. And when you went through and did the energy clearing, you actually said, there is something in that room. There was a spirit that didn't want to leave. And you had to work really hard to get it out. And then I had to, I think, leave salt in there. But the point being that afterwards, my daughter was able to sleep so much better. She's been so much better ever since you did that.
Yeah.
And that room feels different. And there were a lot of other really nuances and energies that came through during our reading. And I can say it does feel like a refresh, like a reset. But I love what you said about the corners. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. We all probably have heard of that when you're smudging to go to the corners, but I never really thought of it that way.
If you, like at the beginning, we talked about getting quiet and just looking. And if you can do that in a very meditative space, you might even be able to see it. I can see it. It looks like fogs in corners, right? You might be able to see it and just look. And now then you know these specific areas to address, to love on a little more if you're going to do some of your own smudging, to smudge there a little deeper. Yeah. And it isn't just always like an entity, right? It's just a lot of stuff. We go through life, right? You
Yeah,
lose a
I think
pet, you fight with your spouse,
it's true. And again, I don't think that we always think about energy and emotions in that way. So that makes it makes sense when you're saying it. And I think we all need that reminder. And Gail, actually, you had a question when it came to the physical direction of the space and the way that Lisa is using that map, right? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I'm curious if the map is the same, like in the terms of cardinal directions in everybody's home, or it's based on an overlay that is determined by how our house is designed uniquely.
So they're just like everything else. There are several different schools or sects of feng shui, like yoga, there's hatha, there's vinyasa, and they might have a slightly different approach. Feng shui is the same thing. So there's compass school, which uses a compass. There is, I believe it's called flying stars, which they focus on the Chinese zodiac. Several different approaches. I practice what's called instinctive feng shui. So it is a blend of form school, which is the original, let's start with the lay of the land. How do we bury our ancestors is what they were doing, right? We take that, blend it with a Western approach. So I use what's called a three-gate method, and we align the bottom of the Bagua map with your front door. Following that's how Chinese medicine, how energy moves through your body. And so when we move in that manner, then everything, we can find that arrangement. There are different schools, different sects, but this is what I believe has worked the best for me. And I think it's also keep in mind too intention. When you go in, intention is everything overall. So no matter what school, what style, anything you're doing, if you have that intention, that's the key.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to hire you.
Should we do meeting the spirit of our home?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Karyn, you're not driving anymore. Good stuff.
I
Okay.
know, right? Karyn is now home. Yes. Oh, you're on mute, Karyn. Karyn, you're on mute.
I'm in my home that needs some feng shui.
This alone, I think this experience will maybe open your eyes and help you view your home a little bit differently. We're going to do a guided visualization, meeting the spirit of your home and just experiencing your home in a different manner. If you are one that I would assume most people on this call are pretty used to guided meditations or meditating on their own or just letting their mind wander. If you're not comfortable with that, just trust the process, whatever will come. If you don't get anything, sometimes it's the next day again, I get a phone call. I had this dream. Okay. So let's just start by putting down anything out of your hands, releasing anything, cup of coffee. Sit back in your chair and close your eyes when you're ready or let your gaze go soft. Just notice that peace for just a moment. Now take a full breath in and a full breath out. Full breath in and full breath out. Now this time, take a full breath in, and at the top of the breath, I want you to hold and release. And we'll do this one more time. Inhale fully and hold and release. And then just let your breathing go back to normal. Feel the weight of your body in the chair, softening and relaxing. And I'd like you to visualize using your mind's eye. I want you to imagine yourself out in the woods. It's a magical woods with no bugs. It's a beautiful place. Look around, there's trees, leaves rustling in the wind. And you see a trail in front of you. You begin walking down the trail. You might hear some leaves crunching beneath your feet as you continue down the trail. Maybe you feel the breeze across your cheeks. It's a beautiful day. The most perfect day. You continue down this path. And up ahead, you notice some sunlight pouring into the woods. There's an opening. You continue closer and closer. Until you get to the opening and you see it opens into a beautiful field of flowers. You emerge into the sunshine. You feel it on your shoulders, your cheeks, into this beautiful field of flowers. There's yellow, pink, red, orange, so many beautiful colors. It's a beautiful day and it just feels magical. Look at the flowers and then sense something magical happening behind you. You slowly turn around and notice that your home has been transported to this beautiful field of flowers. This is your opportunity to see your home with fresh eyes. You make your way towards your home, taking it in. You walk up to the front door, up the steps, and pause. And on the count of 3, you'll open the door. 3, 2, 1. Turn the knob and open the door and walk into your home. Notice any colors or patterns. Notice if anything is grasping for your attention, a piece of art or something on a table, a family heirloom perhaps. And now from this first room, we'll make it our way into a living room, a great room, a main area of the home. When you get there, look around, explore. Is there anything in this room that needs to tell you something? Now, from this great room, living room space, in just a moment, we're going to make our way back near the front door. We'll go there in just a moment. But when you get there, you will have the opportunity to meet the spirit or essence of your home. Know that whatever you receive is the right thing. It may look like a person, it may just simply be a color. But trust that whatever you are meant to receive, you will receive. The count of 3, we'll make our way to the front door. 3, 2, 1. Begin to make your way to the front door and meet the spirit of your home. If it looks like a person, is it male or female, or a skin tone? Are they tall? Are they shorter? And look at what they're wearing. If it's something more abstract, maybe just a color, take in what that feels like, what that looks like. And ask if they have a message for you. You can say, is there a message for me? I'll give you a couple more moments here to chat with the spirit of your home. And now You look down in their hands or on the floor between you, and there's a box, beautiful box. You pick it up and take it in your hands. Inside this box, which will open in just a moment, inside this box is a gift from the spirit of your home to you. Again, trust that whatever you get is what you are meant to get. It might be something tangible, it might be a rock, a crystal, a token of some sort. It might also just be simply a color or a word. As you're holding the box, take a moment to really look at it. What does it look like? What is the shape? What is it made of? And 3, 2, 1, open the box and see what is inside. This gift from the spirit of your home. If it's tangible, take it in your hands. Ask the spirit of your home if there's anything you need to know about this gift. If you took the gift into your hands, go ahead and gently place it back in the box with care, and then gently place the lid back on. You'll be leaving the box here, but know that you can come back and visit this token, this gift at any time. You thank the spirit of your home, also knowing that you can come back and visit at any time. You say goodbye and make your way to the door. Walking through the door, closing it behind you, and walking down your front steps, back out into the field of flowers. You take one last moment to look back at this beautiful home with so much possibility, and then continue down the path towards the woods. You walk into the shade from the trees and down the path which you came. And shortly you're back to where you began. From here, we'll make our way back into our space, into your chair that you're sitting on. Take a big breath in and out. And maybe wiggle your hands, your feet. Move your neck. And when you're ready, flutter your eyes open, nice and soft and gentle. I'd love to give you a couple moments here to take any notes, if you'd like. Anything that may have popped up or anything you want to make sure you remember. Then Robin, I typically like to open if anyone wants to talk or ask questions, if that's okay.
Please.
You
Yeah.
can continue writing if you need. I don't want you to lose anything.
I love that. It was the visualization that you did about the flowers. Literally felt my house. Remember in The Wizard of Oz? And it went from the land of black and white to the land of color. I literally felt like that about my house. Like it was just landing in this beautiful color. And going into my house, I'll just share, my spirit was Jane Goodall.
Oh my God.
Don't know why. It's like, Jane, what are you doing? Or a version of her. So very much this very peaceful, quiet, long gray hair, like white garments on her. And she actually gave me some of the flowers from the field, which was really beautiful. And the gift that she gave me was in the box was this beautiful like dove, this bird that ended up like fluttering out of the box. I'm just like trying to put together what it is, but I think some of the message for me is she represents very much the world of the forest and animals and nature. And for me, I think it's getting out more in nature. I'm in the house a lot doing my Zoom calls all day for work. So it's that always that calling that I have to get out. And I think the bird is also that symbol of freedom and of flight and enjoying that being outside and being able to go in and out of the house. It was
I
beautiful.
wonder if there's maybe an opportunity to bring the outdoors in
Yes,
into your office space.
I was literally thinking that because you'll laugh, my office space is my money area of the house, which is great because it's where, but I have a money tree plant that continues to die every time that I've had to move. So I don't have plants in here, and I feel like I need more of that in here, more of that outside in that you
Maybe not so much plants, maybe artwork of plants. It
that
doesn't
would
have to
be
be,
much better at artwork, keeping
yeah,
artwork
yeah.
alive. And yeah, good.
Or even the color green.
Yeah,
The
that's a
green
great
throw
idea
across
too.
the back of your desk chair.
Great idea. But oh, I love that meditation, Lisa. That's great.
Anyone
I
else?
can share.
Yeah, Megan, you want to share?
So at the beginning of this call, I was telling you how I moved 2 years ago and we're renting this townhome. So we actually just renewed the lease for the third year. And it's spiritually, it's just been like lately, it's like coming up a lot. Like my kids are even asking, like, when are we moving? When are we moving? Are we going to be here forever? And there's lots of things that we really like about this place. And it's also not ours. And there's like little things that are going on and our landlords, oh, that's not that big of a deal. I'll fix it in the spring. And you're kind of like, that's not how I would treat it if it were my home. So we're getting into some minor things like that. And so my spirit just like said, like, just be patient. Like, I know this isn't forever, but be patient. But then it was like this beautiful, it was like this huge vase of huge flowers. And so I just take that, I'll just like love it while we're here and beautify it and make it ours. And then at some point it won't be ours. And then we'll move on. We'll move on to something else. So that was really helpful because I've been getting pretty antsy where we are lately, but also not motivated to look. It's like this whole thing. And I'm an entrepreneur, right? And it's just when the money, right? Like it's wrapped up in a whole bunch of things. But like I can love it for what it is while we're here.
And you can implement maybe something very symbolic, a central area of your home, right? A piece of art that you really love that says, I'm home, or something on a table, right? When you have that visual cue to be like, I am home. This is my home right now. That can help.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Thank you.
Anyone?
I was going to talk unless I can't see everyone unless someone raised their hand.
No, go ahead, Karyn.
Okay, so I'm just going to be honest that I just try to get on every week at 1, and sometimes I don't even know. I don't remember what the topic is.
We love that, by the way. Regardless of having you.
It's been a while. I've wanted to like refresh a few parts of my house, but it in my brain, it was more like, oh, this rug, it's too dirty. We've had the dog, like, but then in the past like 10 days, I've become like, I need to get deep cleaners. I can't clean all these cubbies, these corner, like, and last night someone asked me if I could host something this morning, and I got this sick feeling in my whole like being, like, I hate how my house is right now. It's dirty. It feels like I used to be like so proud of my house. And I started looking around and I was like, I have so much stuff and I don't know where to put it or if I need it. So I'm only saying that because I was like, I feel like I was meant to be on this call. This call was meant to answer my intuition or something, but I'm embarrassed to tell you about my little meditative journey. It was like the
One
spirit.
time somebody told me they got the Count from Sesame Street. So whatever you got.
I feel like I got my teenage son's dirty sweat sock. That was the spirit of my house, because it's like his stuff is just always everywhere.
Okay.
And in my box, everyone can judge me. In the box was money so that I could change everything, just change the pieces I want. So I was like wanting it to be something really meaningful, like a crystal or a dove, but it was like, just do it. Just spend the money and make it a better place for you and your son. So I'm really feeling actually motivated, and that, but it was like a little like when I was in that meditative space, I was like, is this really, is this really the, like what my brain is putting in there? That it's a box of money. So,
I'd sit on that. It wasn't just money.
okay.
It means something else.
Oh, okay.
Although I would have been happy. I got a key. I would have been happy with some money to refresh a couple things in my home. So don't knock that. Is what I wanted to say to you.
I don't know. This is just, I'm going to reach out after to you, because this has felt like, I'm so glad I didn't call the name of the person that I got from a friend to like buy me a new rug or whatever, because I think it's more than that. I think that this whole feeling that I'm having is more than just that. That's what I'll say.
Try to not get overwhelmed, because I know you're like, oh, there's so much to do. Work on one space, one
Yeah.
shelf, one counter, and then go from there. It builds momentum. You're
Okay.
excited to keep working, but then also it starts that kind of that spiral of energy, like to create better and better energy throughout your entire space.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, and it's about being intentional, right? Too, as you were saying, Lisa. And for you, Karyn, I think it's now setting that intention and
Yeah.
finding out, okay, how best can you do that?
That is what I meant to start.
Yeah, how best can you do it? And then it's, and how do you start? And I think
Right.
what Lisa can help you can help do is even help prioritize while you better understand her home and what's going on in her life. But
Yeah.
I actually think it's amazing that the sweat sock is what I mean, it makes sense.
You all, they're everywhere in my house because he leaves them everywhere. And then my dog picks them up and drops them everywhere. It's like literally the spirit of my house.
It's amazing. Wow.
Hopefully, when we're all said and done, it's a nice, fresh, laundered sock.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
I know. I'm so embarrassed. That's what it was. I was like, please picture something else, like Jane Goodall.
Gale,
Mine was kind of surprising. I'm a fairly big minimalist, and I have a lot of like wood and browns and greens. And so there's green everywhere. Like you can see green on the walls and plants and stuff everywhere. And upstairs, when I walked in, it felt like it wanted more color and like a few small things. So overall, very happy. It's very happy, but it wanted more intentional storage within things. Like it's don't just throw your stuff behind doors. If you keep something in the house, it wants it to be very intentionally placed.
Okay.
And also more pops of color upstairs. It's really happy with this room, with the plants downstairs, with the tile in the bathrooms, that like it was like, oh, I love the color in these rooms, which was interesting. And it was a lady who was a wispy white, and she was a combination of a Japanese woman, a Native American woman, and a colonial American woman, and was like really skinny tall with a long skirt on. And then she's like, we have a lot of work to do on the land. And she wants me to try to buy the land nearby, which we are talking about. But you're meant to bring more animals and people here.
Wow.
Yeah. It was interesting and surprising. More stuff, which I did not expect.
I would maybe recommend if you have some more time to journal, just free write and see what comes out. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, this is cool.
I thought I was talking. I was muted. I was talking, but muted. But I was going to say, Gail, is that it's so interesting that spirit talked to you about even more animals and so forth. That's cool.
They
Because
gave us a little pink pillow, and I'm like, what is this? And this is to represent birth and new like animals and like people coming here.
wow, which
Yeah.
I think is interesting because there's a lot
Like
of intention
life.
for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
Wow.
cool. Tammy, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I have a condo I'm living in that I own, and I'm building a house, which is a full-time job. And I'm living in a lot of clutter because I had to put two of my things together. So I had two things going on when I was doing the meditation. It was really interesting that a fluffy cloud showed up for this house, and then my other house that I'm working on, it was more like angels, and then the gifts were different types of rocks. Like the new house had this beautiful rose quartz heart, and then this one had just an interesting rock with that. But I was going back and forth and juggling that. So it's been very interesting because I have so much clutter and stuff because I'm running around in disarray trying to build a house and then just trying to figure out how do I organize the new house. So that's interesting going back and forth and feeling that like disarray both in the
Sure.
meditation and in my like life. Or just I used to work so much in my corporate job, and now my job is this house and some other things, and I just can't get it together. It's just so interesting because I'm trying to build a house that has a certain element and then
Sure.
living in disarray. So that was what I was thinking about, is am I creating disarray as I build the new house and design it, because I'm living in that right now because I just have so much stuff here.
I wonder if it'd be helpful to even just clear it, like your desk, where
Yeah.
you sit and do some work, maybe on the computer. Just that's your tidy space. It'll bring you a little relief. So you can always know, I'll go back here and I'll have some organization and I can breathe. I don't know what stage of your home you're in, but I always love to recommend, if someone's building new, to bury some crystals in the foundation, or if they
Yeah.
haven't
I
poured
was
that
gonna
yet.
do that. We already built the foundation and there was just
Okay.
so much going on. So the flooring is there and stuff, but the walls are up. I don't know if it makes sense to put some things in the walls before they sheetrock. Those are some things I was wondering about.
Something I love to do is you can write on the walls before they paint.
Okay.
You want to be a little mindful if it's going to be white, you want to be mindful of your marker. You can even just use like a pencil and write something lightly, a poem, a mantra, a prayer. Or I worked with a family and the kids went around and wrote words on the wall. Just what do you want? Joy and laughter and game nights, and just infuse those walls with
Does it
what you
matter if
want.
it's on the wall or the floor? Because I was thinking like on the floors, because the house is going to be representative of my company, which is a company that's based on intentional kindness. And I'm going to name the House of Hope and Joy. And then I expect that Robin and Karyn will come here and we'll be doing some Seeking Center. It's going to be a Seeking Center West Coast outpost. Just so you know,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Tammy.
I'm part of the team, so you're coming
Yes.
over here. And so it's very intentional what we're creating. And so the flooring isn't put there. So I was thinking, what is the difference between putting something in the floor versus doing some things on the wall? And I've had Elizabeth Furist come and help bless and help me clear the energy of the house.
Okay.
And she said, you don't necessarily have to put crystals in the ground. I'm like, should I do that and then buy all these things? But I'm also just trying to figure out what to do. So you can just have the energy of it as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
I love to do because I feel like that's an opportunity to do something, to like gift your home with this crystal or berry. And I work with a lot of families, and we'll get everyone involved and doing little moments of love and intention for this home. Another thing I love to do, which might feel right, is write a letter to the home and then shove it somewhere in a nook or cranny that maybe isn't closed up yet. It's a beautiful way, what you wish for the home, and read it and connect with it, tell it its name.
Where would you put that? Is there a certain place from a feng shui perspective?
I would put it in the most central most area of the home.
Okay.
So following that Bagua map that we talked about, if you look at the centermost area, it connects to all the other guas and all the other energy centers in the home. So if you would leave this today and you're like, I don't want to do anything, just love on the centermost area of your home. If you are a bird's eye view looking down at the floor plan or looking down at your home, where's the center? Clean it up, refresh a light bulb, Add a bouquet of flowers, just love on that centralmost area, and that will radiate out.
Thank you.
And I know we're coming up on time, but that to me, for everyone, any of us, number one, can write that letter to our home. And now we have an idea of the spirit. And then I actually just posted a clip on social about how you talked about naming your home,
Yes.
which I love. And again, we can all do that. And Tammi, I love that you were already thinking of that and are already thinking of that as you're building. So I think that those are such good tips. Is there anything else that you would leave us with in terms of that?
Do I have a minute?
Does everyone have a minute?
I'm going to read one little paragraph
Okay.
from my book.
Okay.
One paragraph. You are magic. Crystals, mirrors, or perfectly styled pillows don't shift energy. Your intention, attention, and willingness to experiment do. Remember, your decision to claim a bit of beauty, harmony, and peace within your four walls is an act of self-respect and self-love, a statement to the world that you are worthy of a life that feels good.
Oh, I love that. That's such a nice way of wrapping this really beautiful session up.
It
And
would also be a great gift to give to somebody framed and just put
yeah,
that
that's true.
on their walls. That's so beautiful. And Robin, we should just say too, literally, Lisa, your book is great. And we read a lot of books, but what I love about it so much is that it really breaks everything down in very like easy to follow nuggets and has such great ideas. So if anybody's on the call, just get it. You'll love it and you'll give it to your friends, especially friends who are moving into new places. So rave a little on your book.
And we'll make sure in our show notes to have a link to that. We'll have a link to Lisa's site so you can find out more about working with her. And then will you tell everyone about your podcast, which is so smart because it's nuggets of wisdom.
It's nuggets, things you can go home and do today. So real quick, if you do want a signed copy of my book, I do have a button on my website on the book page to get a signed copy, and I'll wrap it up and put it in the mail to you. But my podcast is called Feng Shui Living Tips for Busy Women. They're 15 to 25-minute episodes of quick, easy things you can implement, you can shift, and just things to know, and all of energy, space clearings to feng shui, to even some design fun things and everything in between.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. This was so fun and meaningful. And I honestly think for most of us gives us a whole new perspective on our home and our space. So thank you. Thanks everybody. And next week we're not meeting because of Thanksgiving week, but then we'll be back with 2 the following week on Wednesday and Thursday. So see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.